Alright, welcome back. We're going to try again. This is probably about my 5th or 6th take by now. I'm so tired. Had a lot going on. Went back to my old job. So basically starting anew again at my old job. And mother broke her hip. Been trying to take care of her with whatever and however I can. My brother's also helping. And she's back home now, thank goodness, and she's going to be having Meals on Wheels. She's going to have a caretaker that's going to help, but not everything is all set up yet, but they're trying. So there's a lot going on. And I had went to Bible study again. That was my 4th time, and that was okay. I'm reestablishing my relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ, because that's what wise people do when they realize they're in the middle of evil. And we are, my friends, we are in the middle of evil in America. So we're still continuing chapter 9. We're on page 241 if you've gotten this book. So we're at the bottom paragraph. One cannot read the conclusion of Paul Wells and Berger regarding Hitler's Antichrist ambition without seeing how it corresponds perfectly with the Cumaean Sibyl's prophecy pertaining to the coming of Apollo. The coming of Apollo, who receives the life of gods and sees heroes with gods commingling. This calls to mind that from the Middle Ages forward, church leaders have believed the Antichrist would ultimately represent the return of the Nephilim, the reunion of demons with humans. St. Augustine himself wrote of such demonality in the City of God. And in the Demonialitate et Incubus et Succubi. I don't know what FR stands for, but FR dot. Ludovicus Maria Sinistari de Ameno, 1622 to 1701. Also perceived the coming of Antichrist as representing the biological hybridization of demons with humans. To theologians and philosophers, he wrote, "It is a fact that from the copulation of humans with the demon, Antichrist must be born." The English theologian George Hawkins Pember also agreed with this premise, and in his 1876 masterpiece, Earth's Earliest Ages, he analyzed the prophecy of Christ that says the end times would be a repeat of the days of Noah. Pember outlined the 7 great causes of the antediluvian destruction and documented their developmental beginnings in his lifetime. The 7th and most fearful sign, Pember wrote, would be the return of the Nephilim, the appearance upon earth of beings from the principality of the air and their unlawful intercourse with the human race. Consequently, if the Antichrist is the reincarnation of the demon Apollo, as prophesied by the Apostle Paul, not only will he be the exact opposite of Jesus, the Son of God, but the forerunner of the return of the Nephilim. The prophet Isaiah, chapter 13 and 14, likewise spoke of the return of these beings, and tied the advent to the destruction of the city of Babylon in the final age. The following verse should give us pause in light of the ongoing presence of U.S. armed forces in Iraq/Babylon, and the powder keg surrounding it. From the Septuagint we read, "The vision which Isaiah son of Amos saw against Babylon. Lift up a standard on the mountain of the plain. Exalt the voice to them. Beckon with the hand. Open the gates, ye ruler. I give command and I bring them. Giants are coming to fulfill my wrath. For behold, the day of the Lord is coming, which cannot be escaped, a day of wrath and anger to make the world desolate. And Babylon shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited. And monsters shall rest there, and devils shall dance there, and satyrs shall dwell there." Isaiah 13, 1 through 3, 9, 19 through 22. One can only speculate if something more than is casually perceived is meant by Isaiah when he says, "Open the gates, you ruler." But whoever this ruler is, he opens gates in Iraq/Babylon, through which end times giants, Gibborim, return to the surface of earth as agents of God's wrath. Noting that Isaiah ties the destruction of Iraq/Babylon with the reappearance of Gibborim. In this way, we recall how thousands of U.S. troops on invading Iraq during the Bush administration admittedly filled U.S. containers with archaeological materials, including what some have speculated to be cuneiform tablets pointing to the location of pure-blooded Nephilim buried in underground caves. This is exactly where Enoch said the antediluvian Nephilim are, and it raises fascinating questions. Would agencies like DARPA have interest in studying or cloning the extinct beings if they were or have been found? I'd say yes. Could man in his arrogance revive ancient DNA, revitalizing or blending it with other living organisms in a way similar to what the Watchers did in making the first Nephilim? And again, I say yes. Is this how the Rephaim, dead Nephilim, who are viewed as squirming beneath the surface of the earth, arise to challenge the armies of God during Armageddon? Maybe. Is the factual reappearance on earth of legendary beings verified by Isaiah, who foresaw creatures such as satyrs, transgenic half men, half goats, accompanying the return of giants in the end times, or why other apocryphal books like Second Ezra's 5:8 prophesy the birth of monsters for the same period of time? Most likely. Some may be shocked to learn that in addition to the citations above, the Bible actually describes an end times confrontation between the mythological gods and Christ. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, says Zephaniah 2:11. The Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saith, Behold, I will punish the gods, Jeremiah 46:25. Human followers of the pagan deities will also join the conflict, calling upon their idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and wood, Revelation 9:20. I don't think I'm ever going to get this done. Hold on. Okay, got distracted by a friend of mine calling me about neighbors' drama stuff. I don't know what all that was about, but anyway, I'm not a nosy person, really. I get in people's business. I listen. No problem. And anyway, so I forgot where we were here. Wish I could rewind this. Okay, so we're on 8 minutes. Alright, well, so given the prophets foretold a day when mythical creatures and gods will return to earth to conduct war against the God of the Bible, it is more than a little disturbing that man has, for the first time since before the Great Flood, intentionally set course to repeat what ancient records say the Watchers did. The accelerated pace by scientific exploration against God's divine order and the subsequent revival of Watcher technology, leading to transhuman or revived forms of Nephilim, has without doubt pushed the end times clock closer to midnight than most comprehend. Enoch's 70 generations. Is that the ground I feel rumbling? Enoch was the son of Jared, father of Methuselah, and great-grandfather of Noah, whose writings provide the most detailed account of the fall of the Watchers, the angels who fathered the infamous Nephilim. While the book of Enoch is no longer included in most versions of the Bible, Enoch's writings are quoted in the New Testament in at least 2 places, and he is mentioned by name in both the Old and New Testament, including Jude 14 through 15, where one of his prophecies is cited. During the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, pre-Maccabean fragments of the book of Enoch were found, helping scholars verify the book's antiquity while also illustrating that the ancients held these texts to be inspired. Many early church fathers likewise considered the book of Enoch to be sacred, including Tertullian, Justin Martyr, Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, Origen, and Clement of Alexandria. The only one I've heard about is Clement of Alexandria. This is an important fact because if Enoch was truly a prophet, then the world may be in for an unfathomable surprise concerning the return of Nephilim, and soon. The 10th chapter of the book of Enoch says the watchers who were judged during the flood would be bound beneath the hills of the earth for 70 generations until the day of their final judgment, when they will be released from those confines and thrown into an abyss of fire to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. But in the 15th chapter, Enoch writes about the deceased offspring of the watchers, the giants, or Nephilim, and describes them as being released at the same time to bring slaughter and destruction upon man. The spirits of the giants shall be concealed, and shall not rise up against the sons of men and against women until they come forth during the days of slaughter and destruction. Enoch 15:9-10. This particular prophecy mirrors those of Isaiah and other apocryphal works, which indicate a future date in which watchers will rise for judgment, while their giant offspring resurrect from beneath the hills of the earth to wreak havoc upon earth, according to Enoch. So according to Enoch, this unparalleled event is scheduled to occur after 70 generations have passed from the time of the flood. This could be troubling. Although traditional scholarship places the time of the Great Flood between 2500 and 2300 BC, modern dating by some researchers has roughly estimated the flood to have actually transpired between 2900 and 2800 BC. For instance, this is the dating given by a group of scientists from the USA, Russia, Australia, France, and Ireland, known as the Holocene Impact Working Group, who hypothesizes the Great Flood resulted from a comet striking the Indian Ocean between 2800 and 2900 BC, resulting in a mega tsunami. Because a prophetic generation is 70 years based on Psalms 90:10, the days of our years are 70 years and 10. Enoch's 70 generation times 70 years equals exactly 4,900 years forward from the flood, if the flood took place between 2800 and 2900 BC. This brings the return of the Nephilim to the immediate hour. In other words, if this 2800 to 2900 BC dating is correct, mankind is on the threshold of watchers being raised from their underground prisons and thrown into an abyss of fire, while their giant offspring return to the surface of earth in violent fulfillment of multiple prophecies. We have no idea whether the modern time frame for the Great Flood is reasonable, but the Book of Jubilees, which I just read recently, another apocryphal text, seems to verify this frightening scenario, prophesying Nephilim on earth in the last days. Again, the familiar word corruption turns up in association with these beings, insinuating an end times repeat of what the Watchers did by corrupting human DNA and blending it with animals to retrofit human bodies for Nephilim incarnation. Note that this happens just before Satan is judged. The malignant evil ones, spirit of Nephilim, destroyed in the flood, were bound in the place of condemnation, but a tenth part of them were left that they might be subject before Satan on the earth. These are for corruption of DNA as in the days of old, and leading astray men before Satan's judgment. Jubilees 10:7-12. Finally, a prophecy in the 2nd chapter of the book of Joel could refer to the same end times volcano of resurrected Nephilim, while some expositors say Joel was probably describing an army of locusts, with phrases like, "They are a great people and strong, and they shall run like mighty men," Gibborim. It is hard to believe these verses are talking about grasshoppers. And here's the verses. "They are a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it. And nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. They shall run like mighty men," Gibborim. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word, for the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Joel 2:2-11. When the numerous ancient texts from inerrant scriptures to extra-biblical sources are added up, there is a persuasive evidence that Joel's army could indeed be more than simple grasshoppers, in that this massive Gibberim army that runs upon the wall from which nobody can escape could be the result of man's willingness to play God in reviving forbidden science and opening gates to what lurks beyond, like the CERN. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to seeing this. But knowing myself, knowing how I am, I probably did say, you know what, I want to see what the end times looks like. So send me during a time when I can be alive during this, so that I can see everything and what the end of the world looks like. Knowing myself, I probably would have said something similar. But that was the end of chapter 9, my dears. And I can see where, our species would want to splice, want to do Frankensteinian experiments, with animals and humans and synthetic life forms and what have you, and even the Nephilim DNA that they may find under there in the ground that Enoch was talking about. I mean, I can see us doing such a thing. Yeah, I can see it. Not a good thing. Alrighty, that's the end of chapter 9 and the end of part 5. So we will go into chapter 10. But I want to take a break from this for a little bit and try a different subject before we go into the 10th chapter. And thank you for listening, and thank you for being with me. And like, share, comment. Let me know what you thought of the chapter. As 5-parter. But let me know what you thought of it and what you think. And if you have any books that you think I should read, then I'll definitely want to get them. And you have a good day and blessings on your house. And I will see you in the next video.